I'm going to be kind of like discussing on how to not lose the human-centered design in this kind of like AI-driven world. And it's good that I kind of like followed part two when he was mentioning about keeping the humanness in all the things that we build. And right now, AI is everywhere. Anything that you kind of do now, there's AI this, AI that, and stuff like that. So getting to it, where am I? As you can see, I'm a very, very fun-loving guy. Currently based in Harare in Zimbabwe. Um, Throughout the years, I've done a whole lot of stuff. I've done branding, as you can see, just put a snapshot there. I'm also like a design mentor and teacher. I've done product design. I have 7+ years in the creative industry. And yeah, that's kind of basically who I am. During the intro in the Meet chat, I also mentioned that I've done a whole lot of things. I've been a front-end developer, I've been a marketer, been a graphic designer, and now I'm kind of like a product designer. I ran away from code because it's too stressful. I rather stress about what people interact with than actually debug things to build them. So yeah, getting into it, there is the AI dilemma. You know, we can't now kind of have certain topics without AI in it. You know, I'm yet to find, probably in church unless they use it as well. But we are facing AI being integrated in all the things that we do as humans and not users. So we're also facing certain, or humans, I'm not going to use the word users from Patu. We're also facing humans getting frustrated and getting this AI fatigue on certain things that they're interacting with. And some things don't need to be AI faced by humans. Sometimes they just need to come in, do what they need to do with a certain product, come in, come out. Sometimes they're faced with an AI platform or an AI interaction that ends up frustrating them or confusing them. So I have here a quote that says, you know, just because you can automate it doesn't mean you should. As I mentioned, we have chatbots, we have search engines and smart assistants and stuff like that. And some of these products are now becoming less personal, and we still need to maintain that personal feeling. I like what Padre just recently said, the sense of belonging is kind of slowly fading as people are just pumping into AI into almost everything that we kind of do and pushing it in, and it doesn't feel personal anymore. When people are using products, they just now just using products or interacting with certain products just because they have a use for them. But it doesn't feel like, hey, I need to use this because it's benefiting myself. It's just a sense of just use. And some apps or some products are losing those users or humans because they have turned away of making it personal. And it's kind of the responsibility of designers, because we design those interactions, we design those experiences to bridge the gap between technology capabilities and the human experience. So while on this, we kind of like talk about the core principles of human-centered design, and kind of got this when I was reading and stuff like that from interaction design. It starts off with people-centered, solve the right problem. Everything's a system, small and simple interventions. And to kind of get into this at the start, where you get it as empathy, you get it as understanding the user and stuff like that. It always starts with the people centered, because you're not just designing for robots, you are designing for humans. And Don Newman kind of got this. One of the people I kind of like. I think every designer kind of looks up to this guy. He says the challenge is to use the principles of human-centered design to produce positive results, products that enhance lives and add to our pleasure and enjoyment. Still focused on the human aspect of things, the feelings. We need to engage the feelings, who they are of a person. They're emotional beings. They have certain values, they have certain things, and all these things kind of come from these four core four core principles, where you start off by the people-centered. What do people need? And how best can we support the person, and then solve the right problems. There's some things, as my first slide, we don't need to automate everything. Probably the form, and people are struggling with the form. Probably it's just how the form is structured, but then when you automate it, it kind of becomes impersonal, and the person will just be like, I'm talking to a robot, and certain queries and problems of your products kind of end up getting more and more. Everything is a system, as mentioned. Everything kind of like goes round. You need to understand how one problem fits into the grand scheme of things. Solving one problem might end up leading into opening up 5 more problems. So making sure how everything fits in, and not compromising that when I solve this with, let's say, AI and whatever it is, it might not break the entire system. There was a talk of a banking app. Imagine if one of those systems that people kind of used to was kind of like made impersonal. It might disrupt and create a domino effect for any other things. And then small and simple interventions allow you to kind of like test and learn. So just adding small things here and there, getting feedback and stuff like that, and interacting, makes it awesome. The whole product that you're making, right? And then when we're talking about human-centered, or user experience, human experiences, a lot of people think, it's just the screens, it's just the apps, but it's kind of like your everyday, your conferences, your classrooms, cooking classes, your playgrounds and stuff like that. These same principles still solve outside the screen, off internet. I'm one of the people that even if the internet switches off, I might start failing how to breathe. But just the UX side of things is, it's in everything. As here's the thing, human user experience is everything. It always has been, and it's undervalued and invested in. This is by Evan Williams. A lot of people begin to think when you hear user experience, to think of mobile apps and websites and all these things, but it's also the same experiences people have um, when they're off these devices. How are people interacting? Um, One of the presenters kind of mentioned there's stages before someone reaches your product. There are feelings, there are interactions that they've done somewhere else. These things can be off grid. For example, if a person is going to a bank and they have a terrible experience when they walk in and walk out and doing all those transactions in the bank, the likelihood of them going to use the banking app um, is probably going to be less, because they're probably expecting that the same, almost similar interactions they had in person, um, they're going to have on the app, or they're just going to turn off the app and the bank entirely. And then I have kind of like two interactive kind of like exercises as we kind of like thinking about this. As you know, think of an AI interaction you kind of use daily, because we have so many products that have AI interactions now. And how could it feel more human-centered? So just given like 2 minutes each person, if you have someone to write, you can just write down one or two things, and then probably at the end of the presentation, we can, discuss one or two of those things. People are free to share. Um, and then the second exercise I thought of was, choosing a real world interaction, such as a class event or, commuting, and just apply one user experience principle to improve it. So this kind of like takes you into thinking and empathizing and coming back to one of those core principles that people centered. We all do these things every day. There's so many real world interactions that you can look at and be like, hey, um, thinking as, many people, in my cases, many people with different characters, how are they commuting from A to B? How best can we create a human centered experience that will better improve this interaction of people commuting from A to B? And then we'd love to hear your guys' answers to these at the end of the presentation. And then case study of, kind of like an AI done right is kind of like Google Maps. There's so many examples, but how the human-centeredness is still part of the core of this product. And even though they have added, excuse me, they have added AI features, it still has that core of this topic. Google Maps uses, AI to help millions of people kind of like navigate it, plan trips and all other stuff. You know, it even directs you on different routes if there's traffic on from point A to point B. It will tell you there's traffic, and it will give you an option of going left or going right, and give you alternative routes, tell you the amount of time you can take from option A and option B. During all those things, it also gives the users the ability to kind of make their own decisions. So it doesn't feel impersonal. It tells you, hey, this is what I suggest, but there are other alternatives. And even if you do not go through the alternatives it gives you, it reroutes and also kind of like sees where you're going and tells you in advance um, that, okay, on this road that you're going, there's traffic, but maybe you can go around like this and stuff like that. So maintaining the human-centeredness, even though AI is in everything and stuff like that, Google Maps really does it well. It supports the human and not dictates what they should do. It just supports, and this is how we're supposed to kind of take all these like AI tools and AI integrations as designers to create products or AI products that support the human. They still need to have control of what they're supposed to do and what they want to do, and then giving them that human decision, the human making, with the support of the AI. Then we've got principles of keeping the UX or the human-centered. We'll come back to, empathy, iteration, transparency, and universality. Empathy, as we know, we need to understand the person. We need to understand the emotions of the people, the humans. We are all humans, you know. Patu said, we are cultured, we are emotional, we are complicated creatures. We see things differently. All of us onto this call can have different answers on what color the first block is, just to show you how humans are, and you need to have or kind of understand that sense of that you're designing for different people. And then iterations, as we design, we should be able to uh, fix and control and bring back what the human people, I said human people, what the humans want, and be continuing to improve. Transparency as well, especially when you're dealing with building AI powered products, is to make sure that just so that people can see. Transparency is that we should show that whatever data or whatever this AI tool is helping this human, it should show how is it helping the human, where is it coming from, you know, users should know how AI works and feel in control. It shouldn't just suggest you from nowhere, but it should kind of like show you like, hey, based on this data, I'm suggesting A, B, C, D, Y because of X, Y, Z. And then we have the universal mindset, that is applying humans into thinking across digital and real world experiences. So making sure that whatever you create, you have to also think of them both in the real world and digital spaces. So yeah, that is my presentation, and the key takeaways is that AI should not AI should enhance, not replace human experiences. This kind of like applies to both the digital spaces or the physical spaces. And there is a guide from Google. It's called People and AI Guidebook. Quite an interesting guidebook when you are creating products, you should think of people and how AI kind of like affects people as they go on, and how and when to implement AI in certain products or systems or experiences. So I think I will share the link as well in the chat, but we'll also share with people offline, which is quite an interesting guidebook that I've been going through. So yeah, as I said before, design for humans and not algorithms. We all want all these products to reach humans, as one of the presenters say, you need to know the goal of why you're building the product, and not just building the product because it feels nice, but at the end of the day, you're building it for humans, and they need to feel that they are in control. They need to feel that this is mine, this is my thing, you belong to me or I belong to you, but they need to be part of whatever products or systems that we are building. With this integrations of AI, most designers now are now supposed to design products and systems and implement AI into them, and making sure that even though you've automated some stuff, it's supposed to enhance but not replace the human experience. So yeah, that is me in a nutshell. And yes, I did kind of polish up my picture here on the right with AI as I was playing around with it. Thank you. Are they kind of like, I can't see people's screens because I'm only seeing my presentation. But let me see if I can stop sharing, and hope people kind of got um, all that. Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Bjorn.
No problem. No problem.